YouTubers around there crossing, and today I'm going to show you how to make Emma, my Cyclops Mii, as a Mii character, which is a quick Mii tutorial. So before you start doing the Mii tutorial thing, I recommend making sure you go onto your little Mii creator system that is installed on your Nintendo Switch before you start doing this. And I recommend going on to start from scratch, and then obviously go on to gender, which is female, as so, and then after you've done that you can then start creating her from there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go on to face, and this is the one that I specifically selected because I was kind of thinking, well, some Cyclops have kind of got different shape sizes, and sometimes they can have pointy chins, sometimes they can have, like, you know, lots of different kind of facial features. And I was kind of thinking, well, I'm kind of going to be very basic here, and I'm going to stick with the first one that you start off with, because I know some of the Miis that you have tend to have different, like, you know, different chins. Sometimes their faces are a bit circular. They can be anything, but for me I had to stick with literally the first one. So what I recommend doing is keeping it as the same, then we can move on to the next one. Okay, so after you've done that, I would recommend choosing the cheeks, because I was kind of focusing on the freckles, because freckles are kind of the best kind of facial features that sometimes some Cyclops have. So that's what I've kind of chosen. So make sure you pause the video if you want to. Okay, so after you've done that, I recommend skipping other, like, you know, facial features and just go straight onto colours. So I've kind of focused in on, like, it's kind of like a kind of in between being very tanned to being very pale, so it's in the middle. So you've got like a medium kind of between the pale and tan colours, as you can see. So make sure you pause the video so you can get this done. Okay, so after you've done that, I'm kind of contemplating that I might want to start going on to the hairstyle. So this is the one that you kind of need to go for, but it's in the second row. But there's so many other hairstyles, but you've got to focus on the ones that are kind of relating to her gender, which is female. So these are the ones on this kind of row. So you've kind of got like different hairstyles, but the one I went with was this one here. So make sure you pause the video so you can, you know, make sure you've got the right hairstyle. Okay, so after you've done that, go on to colour and then go on to show more. And this is the specific minty green that I'm kind of going for, because I'm just thinking about, she could be related to spring, so I was thinking about what kind of season I wanted my Cyclops to be in. So I went with this minty green. So make sure you pause the video so you can get the minty green of her hairstyle done. Okay, so after you've done that, I recommend, when it comes to the eyebrows, I recommend getting rid of those because they're kind of not really that vital in making your own Cyclops. So I recommend going for the one that's, like, you know, that gets rid of them. So make sure you do that before we move on to the next bit, which is the eyes, as you can see. So after you've done that, I'm going to recommend going on to the eyes. And these are the ones that I specifically went for, which is, so you've got like the top row, and then it kind of goes down one. And these are the ones I've gone with because they're quite kind of small, but I was thinking they kind of fit in with what I'm trying to do to make my Cyclops Mii as so. So what I recommend doing is pause the video at this part, and then we can move on to the opposition, and that'll be about it really. Okay, so after you've done that, go on to opposition. But I know sometimes the opposition is kind of like the most crucial part when it comes to making your Mii character in particular. If you need more time on this, I recommend maybe more than 30 seconds, maybe a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can spend more time pausing it if you wanted to, just in case the opposition is quite, you know, tricky in a way. So I recommend pausing the video so you can get this part done. Okay, so after you've done that, we're going to go on to whitening the nose. But this is specifically the one I went with, but as you can see, you can't really see it because it's kind of blending in with the mouth. So what I recommend doing is pausing the video so you can get this specific triangle nose in before we start doing the opposition part. Okay, So for the next bit we have the opposition bit. So what I've done is quite simple this time because you only got 2 parts you've got to focus on. So what you have to do, wherever it is, you've got to make sure it pulls down a bit to this part, and then really you have to make sure you shrink it so it goes down to there. So it is quite simple, so I'm kind of thinking 1 minute max you can pause the video for, so I recommend 1 minute max, okay? So after you've done that, I'm going to be recommending going onto the mouth, and this is the one I kind of went with because I'm kind of thinking when it comes to Cyclopses in particular, they always have a bit of a shocked face, so I kind of went with the little dotted mouth, which is kind of giving out the little shocked impression of your Mii character. That's why I kind of thought I particularly went for it. So make sure you pause the video just in case you're trying to find this one, okay? So after you've done that, go on to opposition. So as you can see, I've done a few little changes to the mouth, but there's only like 3 bits you got to kind of do. But this is kind of staying where it is. I think you just got to make sure you move it from like different areas, but if you want to pause this at some point just in case the opposition is a little bit tricky for you, I recommend maybe like 30 minutes max, or maybe just 10 minutes or something like that. Okay, so you don't need to do anything with the colour of the mouth or anything. If you had like, you know, lipstick, then yes you would. There's no facial hair, there's no moles, but for the body part, for example, you've got to make sure this is the bit you need to look at. So choose a body type for this Mii. This is the body type that I've chose, so it's kind of like they're kind of both kind of similar, but at least they're both kind of the same, so it's not too bad, because sometimes Cyclops could either be tall, big and all that sort of thing. So if you want to pause this bit for yourself just in case you're trying to see how tall she could be and how small she could be, make sure you copy down this opposition if you pause this video around maybe 30 seconds max or something. So after you've done that, I recommend going on to glasses, because this is what I kind of focused on, because I thought if she has glasses, they can be at the top, making it an extra accessory to my Mii character. That's what I kind of focused on. So these are the ones I specifically went for, the darker shade ones, because you don't get them on any other system, but for this one in particular, you can have these ones. So what I've done is I put them on the top of her, like, you know, where her hair is. But what I recommend doing is pause the video just in case it's kind of like, you know, a little bit tricky to get all the glasses if you get confused what this one looks like, okay? So after you've done that, go on to opposition. It is kind of simple really, because I kind of want to make sure they stayed up the top to match like where her hair is, but the colour I went with is kind of like a bright green, not a grassy green or something. So that's what I kind of done afterwards. But what I recommend doing, if you're trying to do the opposition part, make sure I pause the video for 30 seconds max, okay? So after you've done that, go on to colour, go on to show more, and this is the one I specifically went for, which was more likely a bright green colour. So there's a lot of colours to choose from, but don't get confused, you can't find it. So I recommend maybe more than 30 seconds, maybe 10 minutes max if you want to pause video for that long. It's okay with me. So after you've done that bit, then you can focus on the favourite colour bit, which is a dark green, which is kind of simple really. So you can easily just go to it, and then it just wouldn't be too long. And then what you got to do then is type in the nickname, which is Emma. That's the name of my particular Mii, which is the Cyclops Mii. But what I might do another of these tutorials so you can do it on Miitopia, because I've mostly done it on the actual Mii creator functionality on Nintendo Switch, if you guys don't have Miitopia, for example. But at least it was a good, good start for you guys, eh? Make sure you leave a like on this. If you're new to my channel and want to see more of my content, please subscribe to the variety of content you might enjoy, might involve Animal Crossing content, Miitopia content, Pokemon content, or Legend of Zelda content. So what I'm probably going to be focusing this Saturday on is that I'm probably going to do my first playthrough of Legend of Zelda, but it is kind of one of the most hardcore games that you can play, but sometimes it's good to give yourself a challenge when it comes to playing the new Legend of Zelda game, which is called Tears of the Kingdom. But it is quite tricky though, but at the end of the day, it's good to have a challenging game that you can be determined to complete, because sometimes when you haven't got a game that's kind of more easy based, you feel like, what else am I going to do? You know what I mean? Sometimes it is good to have a hardcore game versus an easy core game and a medium core game, because it's better than, you know, just going through the game straight away, you know what I mean? And also turn notifications for Animal Crossing and Miitopia content and other content from me. Say bye for Animal Crossing, I'll see you next one, so bye!